Hey guys, welcome back to another Let's Talk Bourbon. I'm John.
I'm James.
And today we're going to be talking about bourbons that are affordable, right?
There's a popular myth out there that to get good bourbon, you gotta pay for good bourbon, and that's not always true. There are some great selections that are...
Sometimes people give you bourbon for free is what he said. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes,
I think
and that is the best kind of bourbon.
that is the best kind of bourbon. Don't let anyone tell you different.
It's the best kind of bourbon.
But today we really wanted to highlight, a lot of people have been doing this under 30, but we said, screw it, why not do under 25? And this is going to constantly evolve, but for us, this is like our 4 highlighted bourbons. We might actually have a special one I'll go off camera to get at the end. That might be hard to find, but still under that $25 range. But that said, we've got some good ones in front of us, and would love to give you guys some notes on them and see what you all think. So
hey, let's be difficult. Let's start 1, 4, and then work our way into the middle, just to be kind of difficult on that.
Work from the outside into the middle?
No, we're outside into the middle.
Okay.
So we can confuse the audience at home and prove that, we know what we're doing.
All right, well, I'm going to start by pouring one of my personal favorites, and that's Early Times Bottled in Bond. For this one, it's under, $25. It's closer to $20, really.
Especially for a liter.
That's
not 750. That's a liter size.
Bottled in Bond bourbon, as we know, has to be aged at least 4 years, distilled in one season, January to June, July through December, and distilled at one distillery. They have to at least list it if they're going to barrel it somewhere else. It's a bonded warehouse. It's a trusted product. We've talked a little bit about Bottled in Bond already, but that means that it's heavily regulated. This is good stuff. This is actually aged in the Old Forester warehouse. It's part of their catalog. It's a Brown-Forman product, and it's only been on the market, the bourbon, guys, not the whiskey. The whiskey, yeah, but the bourbon's good.
Isn't the whiskey a blend?
The whiskey's a blend, and a lot of people don't like the whiskey, so don't be confused. Look for this. Trust me.
It's
100
some places
proof,
you can get it for $20 even.
100 proof bourbon. To me, it's delicious, but we'll dive into it here. But good stuff, and it's part of that Old Forester aged sort of like in Shively. It's all in the same warehouse. So I'm a fan. If you like Old Forester, you might want to give it a try for sure. So let's go ahead and pour it. We don't need no jigger.
As long as you don't do, and God love him, who I'll give a shout out, don't do a Perry pour, because Perry's generous, and you can tell by the end of his podcast that he does some solid
Perry
pours.
Starts to slur a little bit at the end of his podcast. We love you, man.
It's great. So Brown-Forman. So this is the same recipe as all of theirs, isn't it? Basically, they have one recipe for all their bourbon.
They're always higher corn, but this is it's a little bit different than their traditional. I don't have the exact mash bill, but they also do a little bit higher malt. Maybe it's 12%.
Got a fun nose.
I think the nose on this is phenomenal.
Nice especially for a 4-year affordable range bourbon.
There's the buy it on the shelf, but then there's also to find it in a bar, and this might be $6 a pour, in a bar. So you might find a real gem there. And I always recommend, if you can't find it on the shelf or you don't want to have time for that and you're out and about and you want to try something fun, this would be a worthwhile one. I have a funny story, actually. I met one of the whiskey editors for the Whiskey Review magazine, and he actually, we were in Bardstown at Old Talbot Tavern, and he was talking about all the different bourbons they had there, and he was like, well, you guys don't have anything fun. And I pointed this one out specifically. And it had only been out for maybe 6 months, and we got to talk, and I said, man, you got to try that. And he said, that's the whiskey. And I said, no, it's not. And so he tried it, and he raved about it for the rest of the night. So you never know, folks. If you see something different, it might be worth giving a shot.
Yeah. And once again, all of these at this price range, worst come to worst, if you don't like them neat, they make some excellent cocktails, because we'll go ahead and give away the secret. All of them are over 100 proof, so if you're going to make a cocktail, your bourbon is going to stand out in all of them. So they're going to be quite good.
They're all 100 proof or more, so that's what's cool about it.
More.
All right, so great nose.
I get a lot of
good
caramel on this. This is
I think that's part of how they char their barrels too, which is wonderful. It's got this real marshmallowy sort of campfire flavor profile to them.
It just reminds me of a younger Old Forester. Yeah.
You know what? It reminds me of a younger Old Forester 1910.
I agree. It's got that density.
It's got some density. It's got some sweetness. If you guys like that 1910 product, people have been raving about it.
And you can't buy anymore.
Give this a shot.
Yeah. Especially a liter at this price. And worst come to worst, I'd make an old fashioned with that all day, every day.
Man.
I think that would make a great old fashioned, maybe even Manhattan.
Super fun. Super versatile. All right, James, well, what do you have on your end?
Well, this is a recent addition to my catalog because, as you saw in an earlier episode, the Heaven Hill 6-year bottled and bond disappeared. It was a great staple.
Tragedy.
Because it was one of the few you can only get in Kentucky, and I'm going to rinse. And where I'm at, I get a lot of people come in and ask me every day, what bourbons can you only get in Kentucky? So I had to find another one. This is a Willet product. It's Old Bardstown, bottled and bond. So it's 100 proof. It's 4 years. But I was really surprised. Sometimes this is my favorite Willet non-family reserve product. Because some of them are okay, but boy, this is really good. It's $20. 22 some places. Once again, it's the 4-year 100 proof. It's quite nice.
It's got fun labels, nostalgic. Of course, it says old time sour mash because all bourbons aren't sour. They mostly are sour mash unless you're getting a craft one like Wilderness Trail. So don't let them fool you. But you know, I think it's good that they revived the label. Old Bardstown was in the Willet, family and history for a long time, and this is actually a really good product. I think they did a great job with this.
And what's fun is this is another one that's Kentucky only. So when you come to Kentucky, pick up a couple bottles, support, they're not craft anymore, but a smaller distillery. They're too big to be craft anymore.
They're the largest craft distillery still on the trail.
Yeah, in my opinion, they should be pretty much with the big boys. They're too big for it to be a craft.
Well, how can it be special?
Well, they could be the smallest of the big boys.
Smallest of the big boys.
But
it's got a great nose on it.
Oh,
Spicy.
I love this nose. It's spicy.
I get raisin,
and
like
orange.
oatmeal cookie.
I've always got citrus on this. I've always got orange and
strong
cloves.
cinnamon oatmeal cookie.
You see that?
None of that's bad.
$20
Baking
to
spice.
$25 bottle. I get clove and I get oranges. I don't know why. I've just always got that on that nose. Shout out to a local establishment. When Heaven Hill disappeared, I first had this at Godfather's Pizza because I wanted to try it, and I was
Goodfellas?
Goodfellas, yeah.
Goodfellas? Goodfellas?
Yeah, Good Feathers.
Good Feathers? Okay.
Good Feathers Pizza. Yeah, that was during that whole debacle where some idiot got on social media and talked him down and got.
Goodfellas, we love you guys. Wonderful pizza, guys. If you're ever in
Bourbon
Lexington,
selection.
try them out. And great mixologists. Little slow, but they're gonna make you really good cocktails. So be patient, guys. I think this is great. I get cinnamon. I actually get a little bit of like other baking spice. I get cumin in there. That's kind of a weird note, but I don't think that's bad. I like cumin. So anyway, that's Old Bardstown, and the next one up. This is hot off the press. We haven't even opened it. My wife actually loves this stuff, which is surprising because she doesn't love many bourbons. But we actually had this at the Pearl. So represent to the Pearl out of Louisville, Susie, wonderful Larry, great concept. You guys rock. Go to Silver Dollar, go to Pearl in Louisville, spend your money there. You will not be disappointed. And I mean that truly. But Old Grandad is actually one of their well pours, which, you can't beat that, truthfully. So when it's not Buffalo Trace.
Cork pop on that. I hope we got that on the microphone.
It's Old Grandad, high rye mash bill, so definitely a high rye. Not as high rye necessarily as Four Roses, but high corn, high rye.
So who is Old Grandad?
Old Grandad. Well, the secret there is Old Grandad is Jim Beam. And Basil Hayden is the same mash bill as Old Grandad. This is just a younger product.
And Basil is the lower proof.
That's right, because this is 100 proof. So higher proof, same mash bill, less money. That's using your noggin, folks.
And if you want to spend $3 more, and we debated this because you did the cutoff at 25, and I said, how about 114? And he challenged me, and I looked at the shelf and I go, ooh. But if you want to go for some really high octane that's really nice, the 114's outstanding. But if you're looking for a good value that's got some good flavor, you can't go wrong with Old Grandad.
Yeah, you know, and this has a lot of nostalgia. Old Grandad's been a product in the line for a while. Actually, Old Grandad is a person. It's part of the family. And so, you know, that picture has been around for a long time, so they paid homage there. But truly, they've got some good products. They've got the Old Grandad lower proof. I think that's more of the well 80. I mean, gosh, it's still cheap. And the 114's not much more than this, so it's really good.
So good. It's so good.
But anyway, we'll go ahead and knock this one out. And, you know, with Old Grandad, I can tell you, you go where the granddads go and you might find it. Like, I went to a VFW in my hometown and they had no bourbons other than Jim Beam. They told me Jack Daniels was a bourbon and that hurt my heart a little bit. But Old Grandad was on the board and I thought I hit the lottery because it was $3 a pour. So.
Oh, jeez. For the BIV?
Yep.
Oh, that hurts. That's so awesome. I'd be calling Cheryl to pick me up. Making honey on the nose. Yeah.
Yeah, honeysuckle.
Spicy. It must. I get the. Actually, of the three, that is the greenest. I guess it must be the highest because it's the highest rye.
Yeah. So you're getting more of that grassy, sort of earthy.
If you ever want to, speaking of Old Grandad, you want to introduce people to bourbon, you could go wrong less than basil because I mean it is 80 proof. But that high rye content gives it some backbone. So that's how I got my mom into drinking.
So give your mom Old Grandad. I think that's appropriate.
Yes.
Or basil.
She did get that for Mother's Day last year.
Gosh, that's good.
Okay.
You can get that high corn out of it though, so it's sweet and sort of that spice balances. It's 100 proof though, not for the faint of heart. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't say it's got a huge Kentucky hug on it, but if you are
it's got a good pad.
If you are accustomed to bourbon, this will surprise you. And I think I've had a lot of people tell me that, for sure.
I agree. I think it's one of the unsung brands. I know for sure it gets really overlooked where I'm at, which is a shame because it's a solid pour from a solid label.
Gosh.
Mm-hmm. And it's always fun to tease people on who Old Grandad. You know, that's Basil Hayden. Like, really? So it's fun to tease them about.
You think you know, but do you really?
Oh.
All right, so we got one more here. Go figure, James. This is gonna be a wild turkey.
Look, for an everyday pour, although I have to tell a story, you would think it's an everyday pour everywhere, but on the strip, you know, casinos, it's not attached to a hotel. I said they were going to comp me, and I go, give me a wild turkey, and they poured me 81, which was very disappointing. But 101, you can find about 90%.
And that's really
of
like the staple product. I think if anybody thinks of wild turkey in its original form, I think 101. I never think anything lower proof than that.
But as story from a few weeks back, for a 101, it doesn't drink that high of proof, and honestly, it's 1 percentage point. I'll give you a little more. 1 percentage point over everything else what we've had. So basically, it's a bottled bond plus one. I would say it's at least a 4-year product. The only difference is it probably doesn't come in a bonded warehouse.
Yeah, so it's a whole 50.5 ABV. So when he says 1 percentage, that's the percent, 50.5% ABV.
If you're looking for something, some of these are under 20, some of these are under 25. If you go into a bar, any bar in America, odds are you're going to get this. You can have a lot worse.
High rye. So I think out of these choices, although we picked these, and there's plenty of others out there, to note some of the best ones that stand out have that rye base, and I think that's because they stand up in cocktails and they are versatile, and you can add water or you can drink them neat if you're accustomed to bourbon yet again.
If someone wanted to put an ice cube in Wild Turkey, I would have no problem with that because it would make sense. Water it down, maybe add some conjugars, add some flavor to it.
This has a really good sweet nose to it.
And from It's Boys Night, we did a podcast years ago with It's Bourbon Night where we did our favorite bourbons in any bar in America. And Buffalo was in there in Makers and Wild Turkey, and believe it or not, Wild Turkey won out and no one predicted that. So it kind of really did change my head and made me start revisiting 101 a lot more.
You know, and on the nose on this, Wild Turkey's so distinctive, but I'm going to go far out, and hopefully you can stay with me here, but I would say, like, if you took a Twizzler and you wrapped it in a banana pepper, that's what I would think the nose on this would kind of smell like. There's a little bit of
look
spice.
at this producer, and she's even giving the...
I mean,
because
the
they
Twizzler is
do
like
that
sweet, and you know, but
So
you got that little spice.
So like a Four Roses.
Like a Four Roses.
That
Yeah.
described my wife, which was caramel with wrapped in a jalapeno pepper.
Sassy. Yeah.
Yes. What's odd is, these are all affordable, but none of these are under 100 proof, so you're going to get a bang for your buck no matter what. None of these are under 4 years.
And that does have that sweet characteristic. You can get that oak out of it. The Wild Turkey 101 for me is mouth-watering. All of these are mouth-watering, and I think that's important for a good foundational bourbon as well, is that they don't dry out your mouth. They're not overly tannic. Once you get into the older bourbons, sure, you're going to have some of that expectation, but I think that's what makes these such good selling bourbons, is because they're not overly intimidating.
No. Don't let the bottom shelf scare you, because there's some great values and some great things you can find on the bottom shelf. Don't repeat my mistakes and think that 101 or Old Granddad's VFW or Biker Bar bourbon. They could be really good bourbons. You just, maybe the biker bars and VFWs know what they're drinking.
And you know what? Those people have been drinking longer than probably most of us have, and props to them for doing that consumer research before we did. That said, I mean, I think that wraps up our review of these. So these are all $25 or less. They all should be readily accessible depending on your market, but tell us what you think. If you've got, that one's Kentucky only.
Kentucky only. Come visit us. Do the Bourbon Trail.
You can find that in the gift shop.
Yep.
Ask for Janelle. She likes hugs. Actually, she doesn't like hugs from strangers, so maybe don't do that. But ask for Janelle. Willett is a fantastic distillery. Heaven Hill's across the street. You've got 1792 down the road. Bardstown is a lot more fun when you don't come to the Bourbon Festival. KDA, love you guys, but if you're just a true bourbon fan, come spend a week in there and do it in an off season, and you'll love it. I promise. But these are our choices. We'd love to hear from you guys what your choices are. Comment on us to see what your favorite. Actually, out of these, what would you say is your favorite?
I've had I hate to choose my two, but it's going to be one of my two.
Is it going to be Wild Turkey?
No, actually the Old Bardstown.
Old Bardstown?
It just is really growing on me lately. The Orange and Clover. But you're the one that turned me on the early times, and I've talked a lot of that because it's amazing. For $20 for a liter, and it's 100 proof, it's 4 years. Most people don't know about it, but people here in Lexington do, and the Bluegrass, and I sell a lot of it. It's really good.
And I promise, I've never had a paycheck from Brown-Forman, but I love Jackie, I love Campbell, I love their philosophy, and I love their products at Old Forester. But early times to me, it's the best bourbon for $20 out there. So changed my mind.
Once again, with an asterisk, make sure it's the blue
Bottled
label.
and bond,
yes.
Blue label.
Not the plastic bottle.
And that'll be our secret.
Yes.
Don't Fred Minnick this stuff. Just
no ascot.
That's right. No ascot. No bow ties. All right, guys.
Bow ties.
Well, we would love to hear again from you what you think. Comment below if you agree with us, James or myself. But thanks again for spending your time with us. If you like what you see, definitely subscribe at the at the icon above for Let's Talk Bourbon. We also have some other videos out there, and you know, if you have some other bourbons that are $25 or under that you suggest, we would love to hear from you. We'll give them a try, twist our arms. So,
so far our favorite bourbon's the one in our glass.
That's right.
Yes, so
that's right.
Comment, like, subscribe.
Thanks everyone. Have a good one.
And drink bourbon.
Cheers.